guys, so let's talk about budgeting today. Whether you're trying to get your finances in order or you're just wondering where your money is going at every month, this is the perfect place to start. Don't worry, it's not as scary as it sounds and it's not going to be as complicated as it sounds. When I started budgeting, I was 25 years old. I just discovered budgeting, stumbling through, scrolling through social media. Now, before I knew about budgeting, I thought I was doing pretty good in my finances. I was getting paid, always trying to save a little bit, but I truly didn't know where all my money was going. But the first time I actually started to budget, I created my categories and then I assigned all my money and then I was tracking my spending. It really helped me see, oh snap, this is how much money I'm actually spending on shopping. This is how much money I'm actually spending on my going out, my brunches, on my happy hours. And this is how much I'm actually saving. And it always varied. My savings always varied based on what I had planned each month. Because again, I didn't have a plan. And that's what a budget is there for, a money plan, so you tell your money where to go. And so once I started budgeting, it made me realize, wait, I can accomplish so much more of my financial goals faster if I create a new plan and I stick to it by budgeting. Now, I know everybody's money situation is different. Some of us are working on paying off debt. Some of us are working on saving, investing, or some of us are just trying to make sure that your money pays all the bills. Whatever your financial goal is, a budget is gonna help you. It's gonna help you make a plan so you can actually start achieving your goals. So today I'm gonna break down how I budget step by step using my monthly budget spreadsheet. It works on Google Sheets and you can get it for free. It's linked below. Now, if you're creating your budget for the first time, I suggest you pull out your last 3 bank statements and credit card statements. That way you have a good idea of the average spending of where most of your money is going. However, if that seems a little overwhelming to you, fine, don't stress. The best thing you can do is just start. So even if your budget isn't perfect, this is a starting point and it's gonna help you only improve every month as you're tracking your expenses and as you keep on budgeting. Because the more you budget and the more you track your spending, the more you're gonna learn about your spending habits and the more you're gonna be able to tailor your budget and make it work for you. Maybe you'll go over budget, but that's okay. Don't get discouraged. The point is you're learning from your spending habits and you're gonna fix it and keep on tracking every month. Now, as I said, budgeting is personal, so use this video as a guide. Take what works from this video and make it your own. Grab a coffee, grab your favorite drink, whatever it is, get comfy, and let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing I do when creating my monthly budget is I think about all my monthly estimated income for the month. This is where you're going to put your regular 9 to 5, 9 to 6, your full-time job, any side hustles you have. Let's say you tutor on the side, you do Uber Eats, whatever it is. This is what you're going to put here. For example, for me, I get paid twice a month, so I separate it as paycheck 1, paycheck 2, and let's say you have a side hustle, you can also include it here. And then what I like to do is match it to when am I scheduled to have this paycheck. So I get paid twice a month, so the 1st and the 15th. If you were to get paid weekly, then you would put paycheck 1, paycheck 2, paycheck 3, paycheck 4, and then the weekly dates that it matches up to. Let's say high side hustle, I don't know, I like to accumulate it all at the end. Now, after you've entered the paydays, then you're going to enter how much are you expecting for that paycheck. And just to let you know, all the numbers I'm going to use here are fake, made up, so do not come from me whether these numbers make sense or not. So let's say here I'm putting $1,900, $500 for side hustle. Now I will say if your income is not consistent, for example, one month you can make $4,000, but the next month you can make $5,000, and it just varies. I would suggest budgeting using conservative numbers. So in the example I just used, I would put $4,000, and then that way, if you do bring that month an extra $1,000, well then we can allocate that maybe to your savings, investments, or debt, or something else that you have coming up that month. And once I have the total estimated monthly income that I'm going to bring in a month, think of my bill categories: savings, investments, variable expenses, aka also discretionary expenses, debt, and subscriptions. Now, personally, I like to start with my savings and investments category. Creating my savings and investment goals helps me ground back to why am I budgeting in the first place, why I want to stick to my budget, because I like to keep my savings and investments on top of mind. And I also like to separate them just because I like to know how much I'm investing and how much I am saving, as savings and investing is different, right? Now, if you do not have a savings account at all, I strongly recommend you start with an emergency fund. Life happens. Life sometimes, and you just don't know what's going to come up, what random expense is going to show up. And so to avoid trying to go into debt, you will want to have an emergency fund. This year, I'm actually also working on building my emergency fund. So that is one of my priorities since I was on a mini sabbatical for 7 months. That's what I'm going to focus on this year. Now, after my emergency fund, I also think about my short-term money goals, my 2 to 3 years money goals. For example, for me, this means travel. I know I like to travel at least 2 to 3 times a year. Now, I may not have a trip planned up already, but I know it's going to happen. I like to save a little bit from my paycheck each month and send it to this travel fund. That way, when my travel does come, I have my funds ready for me. Now, I also celebrate the holidays, Christmas especially, and my family is pretty big. And so if I were to wait till November, December to buy all the gifts, it will really mess up my budget. And so I like to have a gift fund because I also include here birthday gifts throughout the year that I know I'm going to give. And so by having a gift fund, every month, I also send a portion of my income into the savings account. That way, when that event comes up, I just get the money from that fund. You could also add any other things related to you. Do you have a wedding coming up? You would put wedding. Do you want to save for a home in the next 2 to 3 years? So you put a home down payment. That's what I actually had when I was saving up for a home. Right now, I am a homeowner, and being a homeowner, random home expenses also come up. So I do have a home repair fund as well, just in case. And now what I like to do with my spreadsheets, I like to make it a little bit fun. So I just go to insert emoji and enter an emoji just to make it look cute. You don't have to do that, totally optional, but that's what I like to do. Now, when I thought about my savings categories, I like to match it up with my paychecks. So for example, let's just say my emergency fund, that's going to come through my first paycheck. My travel fund is going to come my second paycheck. My gift fund, first paycheck. Home repair, second paycheck. Then I enter my plan amounts for the month. On another video, I can show you how I come up with these numbers, but for the sake of this video, I'm just going to show you me quickly just putting some numbers in here, right? And then I go to my investments. This year, I'm going to focus on investing in my Roth IRA. And now I write it twice because I want to max out my Roth IRA. And personally, because of how my bills are set up, I cannot send it all with one paychecks. And so I like to put paycheck 1 for the first one, and I know that this one will come out for my paycheck 2. If you do not have a Roth IRA account, I strongly suggest you look into opening one because it is by far my favorite investment account. And so for this one, I'm going to match it with my first paycheck. And this one, I'm going to match it with my second paycheck. And you enter your budget amounts. And then as you're entering it, you're going to also know the total that you're budgeting for. And you're going to know your monthly budget summary right here as well, your total monthly income, your savings, your total investments, and nothing is populated here for the actual column because this is when we're actually going to track. I did forget to mention that if you do have any rollover balance from the month ahead, you would enter it here. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to show you with 0 there. And then you would go to your bills. Your bills are basically what doesn't really change from month to month. Think rent, mortgage. Now, I want to say that I do like to split my bills and subscriptions just because I know sometimes subscriptions can sneak up on you. And so I really like to keep track of all my subscriptions, how much I'm paying a month, if they've gone up, if I'm using it, because if I'm not, then I'll just cancel it. Okay, so you first start with your housing, whether you rent or you own. I'm going to put mortgage here, and then you can put your utilities. Then if you have a car or a monthly Metro card, that doesn't change, so you can put your transportation there. Then cell phone, Wi-Fi. If you are a homeowner, sometimes you do have to pay for sewer and water monthly. I know I do, so I add that in there. If you have kids and you pay for daycare, anything like that, you would also add it here. And then you would add when are those bills due. I really like to see when are they due. That way I know exactly, just when to expect it when I'm going through my budget. And then here you would put your budget amount. Since your bills don't really change throughout the month, you can just enter it, and I'm just gonna create some fake numbers here. Then after bills, I go to my subscriptions, your other monthly bills. Let's say, for example, gym and Netflix. And you just put when you're expecting that bill and how much you're paying. Then I would go to my debt. So if you have any credit card debt, you would put it here. If you have any student loans, you would put it here. And then when is that bill due, you would put it here. And then if you, based on after your budget, you notice that you cannot send a lot of money towards your debt, I always suggest at least paying the minimum payments. Ideally, you want to pay off your credit card at the end of the month. That's how I do it. I don't have student loan debt, I paid it off already. My credit card, I always pay it off either every week or at the end of the month. I treat it like a debit card. That way I don't build debt. But if you already have debt, you want to tackle if it's high interest debt, and at the minimum, if your minimum payment is 25, make sure you include that in your budget. I can make another video of ways that you can start tackling debt, but for now, let's focus on how I finish my monthly budget. And so then I will go to my variable expenses. This is your discretionary expenses that vary from month to month. So think of groceries, think of dining out. I like to personally split dining out and takeout. Takeout is like, let's say you order Uber Eats. Dining out to me is going to a restaurant, right? Beauty care, for me, that means some months I do a manicure, some months I do a pedicure, some months I go get a massage. So that falls under beauty care. Then I also include household items, and I also include shopping, because realistically, I know I do shop. Maybe I buy a shirt or a dress or whatever it is. I see something on sale, I'll buy it. So I include that in my budget. And I also include some fun money, because again, you have to make this realistic to your lifestyle, because if you're restricting yourself when you're creating your budget, you're not going to want to stick to it. Honestly, it's not going to work for you. So for me, like for my fun money, I think about sometimes I go to brunch. So I'll add brunch here, or I go out with the night with my girls, or just like any date, anything that is fun to me. This is where I will budget for that month. Some months are more, some days are less. That's what I use here. And I will also suggest having a miscellaneous category. I have that because let me tell you, something unplanned for will always come up. So I put that there. That way my budget is not totally thrown off when this thing comes up. Now what I'm going to do is allocate my budget for these variable expenses. So the goal here is we already got our total income, right? 4,300. Then I already allocated my money, like I said, to my savings. I'm saving 650 a month. I'm investing 600 a month, and I'm sending this amount of 2,077 to my bills, plus my 37 to my subscriptions. Let's say I did have this credit card debt. I'm sending $25. So now I have a remainder of $911 left to budget. And so this $911, I can budget here. Now I'm going to make up some numbers here. Remember, budgeting is very personal. That means like my budget is not going to look like your budget, and it's not going to look like your friend's budget, right? Because we have different priorities, we have different circumstances, we have different goals. And so that's what you have to keep in mind. Okay, so now that we've planned our monthly budget here for the variable expenses and throughout this entire monthly spreadsheet, then I would look here, left to budget. I still have $101 left. So that means I can send this to either savings, investments, or really think about where else I can save. If I have debt, I would probably tackle my high interest debt and send it here. But let's say January, realistically for me, I know my dining out will be a little bit more than usual months because I have some birthdays coming up. So maybe from here, I'll put $210. And now you have $41 left to budget. So based on my situation, I'm going to prioritize my emergency fund. And so it's going to be here instead of $250, $291 this month. And so there you go. Now there's $0 left to budget. Now, if you're following along with my monthly budget spreadsheet, which you can get for free, it's linked below. Before tracking what you're actually spending each month, now that you created the master budget, what you would do is just click on the arrow, click on duplicate, and then just click on the arrow, rename. Then you start tracking and planning for each month going forward. Here you can just choose the month. Let's say if it was February, for example, you would duplicate it, and then you would actually duplicate the master one and then click on February. And then from February, at least you have a little template of what to work with. And then you can see, hey, do I have to bring down some numbers or do I have to add an expense? And then from there, but at least you have like a template because we created that on the master budget. Okay, so now we're going to the most important part of your budget, which is tracking your monthly expenses. And I will say this could be very tedious or very easy. I suggest you logging in your daily expenses every day. It's going to take no more than 5 minutes. Before you go to bed, just open the spreadsheet on your app. There's a spreadsheet app, Google spreadsheet app, and you just open it and enter it, and that's all. If you can't do it every day, do it at the end of every week. I strongly suggest you don't leave it till the end of the month, because that's when it can get a little more stressful, because even some merchants, you won't recognize what the actual name of the merchant is sometimes. If you go to like a random restaurant, and then you're going to be stuck wasting time trying to figure out, wait, what was this expense? So that's my tip for you there. For example, my mortgage is paid. I will just put the actual amount and then just check it off to know that it's paid. My utilities is paid. I do the same here. When my investments go through, I do the same here. And now in order to just double check, I always check my regular checkings account, my savings account. And now to log in my variable expenses, this is where I'll check like my credit cards. And then this spreadsheet, you just scroll down to your expense tracker, enter the date. So for example, let's just say, I don't know, the first of the month for groceries. And now I just want to mention that when you click on this drop down arrow, all these options are populated from here. So let's say if you added here, I don't know, gift, right? Then when you go down here, gift will be added. I love it because to make this spreadsheet as automated as can be, so it's easier for you to just track and actually stick to your budget. Say I pay this with my Amex credit card. So that's where I like to do for my payment type. I like to know if I'm paying cash or with credit card. And then here you could just put, I don't know, let's say it was a Costco run. And as soon as you put your amount here, it's going to automatically update on your actual column. And I actually forgot to say this, if you're using the spreadsheet, then any cell here that is shaded will automatically populate for you as you're entering your actual columns, your actual spending. Then you will see this automatically start to populate. Now, if you see his total income is zeros because we actually didn't update this. So once you start getting paid, once you actually update the actual column, then you will see all of this populate, and you're gonna keep going and entering your expenses. Let's say, I don't know, you went to dinner, you paid with your Chase credit card, you went to a restaurant in New York City, right? And then in your dining out, you will see the actual updates. And then you're also going to know how much you have left based on what you budgeted for. For example, let's say on your next run to your groceries, you spent $230 and you use your Amex, and here you did a Aldi run or something. Now, if you go back up here, it will show you in red. The reason why it's going to show you in red is because now you went over your budget by $30. When this happens to me, because you're not perfect, I'm not perfect, right? Sometimes it won't be the exact budget amount, your actual spending. Now, this is why I also like tracking this every single night, because then it's going to help me like, ooh, snap, this month I went over $30. So maybe I'm going to try to keep my fun money or my shopping or any other category $30 less. That way I don't go so much over my budget. And then again, you can see here as you're updating this, how much money you're able to save a month, how much you're able to invest versus how much you're paying towards your debt subscriptions and everything else. And that way you kind of get to tell yourself like, do I want to continue this? Do I want to increase something? So there you have it. This is how I plan my monthly budget using the spreadsheet, which you can again get for free. It's linked down below. Tracking doesn't have to be overwhelming. I try to make it as automated and simple as possible using the spreadsheet to help you out if you also want to start your budgeting journey. I know before I started budgeting, I was really clueless into how much I was actually spending on shopping, on brunches, on going out. And so when I actually started seeing my numbers, it really helped me. You also want to keep it realistic because, you know, I still like to go to brunch. I still like to shop here and there. So I made the budget work for me. I mentioned if you do go over budget, let's say if you went over budget and you actually couldn't tweak it anywhere else, then it's okay. Don't beat yourself up for it. It happens, especially in the beginning of your budgeting journey. Just use that data when you create your next month's budget. And thing is just start budgeting, grab my free spreadsheet, and let me know how it goes. And if you found this video helpful, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone that you think might find it helpful. And any other budgeting questions you have, share them in the comments. Any other videos that you would like to see, just let me know in the comments. Bye. See you in my next video.